Hey, so today we're going to carry out the phase change lab. In order to do this, there was some work that you needed to do ahead of time. If you did not watch the introductory video, you need to stop this video and go back and watch the introductory video. The reason is because without watching that, you don't have the data charts that you need in order to collect your data. So if you have not watched the introductory video and set up your data charts, please pause this video, watch the introductory video, and then come back. Assuming that you're still watching, it means that you have your data charts all set up and you're ready to collect data in this lab. So we're just going to follow the procedure. We're going to be doing the boiling point procedure first, and in order to do that, the first thing we're told to do is get 200 milliliters of water in a 250 milliliter beaker. Then we're told to support the thermometer in the water. In order to do that, we're going to place the beaker on our ring stand, having already made sure that the ring stand is adjusted for our Bunsen burner. And then we are going to lower a thermometer, in this case a digital thermometer, into the water. You'll notice that as we do this, we're being careful that the thermometer does not touch the sides or the bottom of the beaker, because this will actually then read the temperature of the beaker and not the water. So now that we have all this properly set up, reading on in the lab, Step 3 says that we are to begin heating the water with a hot flame, which we'll produce in just a minute, but we should read on to Step 4. Step 4 is how we're going to collect our data, and what we're going to do is we're going to record the temperature at 30-second intervals for 5 minutes past boiling. So as soon as we place the Bunsen burner underneath the beaker, we're going to take our first temperature measurement, and we're then going to do that every 30 seconds. Once the water starts boiling, we'll continue to gather data for 5 more minutes. So let's get our Bunsen burner lit and let's get heating. You'll notice we're using a little bit larger Bunsen burner because that'll provide more heat, and therefore the lab will go a little more quickly. Looking at our first temperature reading, you'll notice that we're at 21.0 degrees Celsius. That should be your first temperature reading. We will then place the Bunsen burner underneath the beaker, and we will start our stopwatch, and we'll take temperature readings every 30 seconds. So here we go. Can you see the temp as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I didn't have my glasses on.
Got him now. We're good.
10 seconds gone. And our first temperature reading will be in 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Coming up on our next reading in 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Coming up on our next reading in 3, 2, 1, now. And our next reading in 3, 2, 1, now. Coming up on our next reading, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
Feeling all right?
Yeah, it's doing good. 10 seconds to go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Oh, this is still doing great.
Yeah.
Our next reading will be 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Our next reading will be in 4, 3, 2, 1, now. You can really see the convection currents in the water.
Right.
That's cool.
I love that that's visible.
Coming up on our next temperature reading in 4, 3, 2, 1, now. And our next temperature reading, about 10 seconds. And 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Our next temperature reading then will be 3, 2, 1, now. Our next will be 3, 2, 1, now. And 3, 2, 1, now. So that's our second reading at boiling.
Right.
Our third reading at boiling will be 3, 2, 1, now. Our fourth reading at boiling is 3, 2, 1, now. our fifth reading at boiling will be 4, 3, 2, 1 now. That's doing great.
Awesome. Yay.
That was 5, right?
Yeah.
Our sixth is 2, 1 now. That was a quick one. Maybe getting a little evaporation. And now for your next reading. You'll notice I adjusted the thermometer down a little bit. As the water boils, some of it leaves the beaker. And I think that the actual temperature sensor was starting to lift out of the water. Our next temperature reading will be 4, 3, 2, 1 now. Is that 8? Maybe 7.
Maybe 7.
3 more.
I can't remember.
3. We'll do 3 more readings for a total of 5 minutes. If it turns out that's not exactly 10, we'll graph all the data. And we are in 3, 2, 1 now. 2 more readings. And we are 4, 3, 2, 1 now. And what we will call our last of our 5-minute readings past boiling, for a total of 10 readings at boiling, will be 4, 3, 2, 1, and now. So we are now done with the boiling point section of this procedure. When you go to graph your data, what you're going to want to do is round your temperatures to whole numbers. Don't try to graph the tenths. You won't be able to do that on the graph paper that you're using. And so when you draw your graphs, round your temperatures to whole numbers, and that will be the data that you'll be graphing. So moving on now, we're going to look at the other phase change that we're going to study today, and that's freezing point. To do this, as you read over the lab handout that you should have printed, that you'll also include in what you're turning in to your teacher when this is all done and written up. Notice that it says to continue to heat the water. And the reason that we're doing this is because the substance that we're going to freeze is actually paraffin or canning wax. And as you can see, the paraffin is actually already frozen because paraffin freezes at a temperature above room temperature. So the first thing that we need to do if we're going to freeze the paraffin is we actually need to melt the paraffin. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to place the paraffin-filled test tube into the boiling water, and we're just going to allow that to begin to melt. As that's going on, we are going to continue on with this, and we're going to get ready to measure freezing. So in order to measure the freezing point of in order to measure the freezing point of the wax, what we need to do is we need a place that we can take the heat from the wax and remove it so that we can cause the wax to freeze. What we're going to do is we are going to use an ice bath as the place where we are going to collect the heat from the wax. So to do that, we're simply going to take another beaker. Actually, we should grab a larger beaker. We're going to take a beaker and we're going to fill this beaker with ice all the way to the top. And what we're doing is we're creating what is called an ice bath. So to create the ice bath, we're going to take this ice-filled beaker and we're then going to fill it with cold water. Basically just making a cup of ice water. Like so. All right, and so what we're going to do then is we're going to allow this to be the place where we will then freeze the wax. So what we need to do then is we need to check back on this, and we need to allow that wax to melt. Now, as we're allowing the wax to melt, this gives us the opportunity to read through the rest of the procedure. So notice under freezing point, step number 3 is that once this wax is melted, we're then going to insert our thermometer into the wax. And we are going to heat the wax to the temperature of the boiling water. Of course, we know the temperature of the boiling water because we recorded it 10 times in the previous part of this lab. Then reading through the rest of the steps, once the wax is to the temperature of the boiling water, we are then going to place this test tube in the ice bath. Now here's where you need to be careful, because what we're going to do, step 5, is we are going to record the temperature every 10 seconds. This goes very, very quickly. So you need to be ready to collect data quickly because this happens fast. So let's let this wax melt, and once the wax is melted, we'll be all set and we'll be ready to record this temperature every 10 seconds. So in order to do this, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it.
Okay. And then we can just insert
set
that
it
in there.
And then we'll just want to make sure that the temperature.
Yep, so would that be,
Let's check. That looks like it.
is that okay?
Yep,
Okay.
that's perfect.
Why does this not melt?
It's taking its dear sweet time, huh?
I'm gonna get another one. There's something wrong with that.
Okay.
All right, see which one melts first. I think we can safely do this without our heat shield.
Oh, good. Can it reach all the way?
I hope so. Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah, we're getting good.
All right. How are we doing? Hey, there we go. What's up with this one?
That's funky.
This one. That's weird.
You can see it's becoming clear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep,
Starting
it's
to melt.
melting nicely. So as we're allowing this to continue to melt, you'll notice that there's a couple more steps at the end of the lab, which we're actually not going to ask you to watch. The problem will obviously be that once we're done freezing the wax, our thermometer will be frozen in the wax. In order to recover it, we'll remelt the wax and then pull the thermometer out and clean it. But there's really no reason for you to watch that part of the process. So we will pause the video and we'll do that without you. All right, we're getting closer. This is closing in on being melted. It's probably close enough that we can insert our thermometer. I still want to support this just so we don't kill the thermometer.
That's a good idea.
All right, little fella, don't be scared. Although if I do that,
It won't necessarily
it
go
won't
deep enough.
reach. Yeah, so I'll
Yeah.
do it this way. All right, we're getting close. What's the temperature there?
60,
Okay.
70, 75. Oh, it's dropping.
Oh, I probably got down by the unmelted wax.
Yep.
I shut this burner off. That's hot enough that it'll keep it melted. How are we looking?
We're back at 75, 76, 80, 85.
I think I'm gonna have you run the stopwatch in this case,
Okay.
because I'm gonna get in trouble trying.
Yeah, it's tricky to do both of them.
Are we okay?
We're at 90.
Okay. So I think if we're over 90, we can call that pretty hot and melted.
Yeah.
Did that go down when
Nope.
we did that?
No, it's 91. 91.3.
Should we start there?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So do you have a set temperature there? Is
Your
that looking-
temperature, it's still rising. It's now 91.9, 92.0. Okay, so we're gonna start at
Oh.
9.
Did that break? No. Okay.
Good.
Start where?
Okay, we're gonna start at 91.0.
Okay.
Ready? And it's dropping. So,
How
ready?
about there? What do you got?
Now it's 90.9.
Okay, ready?
Set, go.
Every
8,
10?
9, 10.
And we're going to continue this until the temperature gets down to
8.
20.
9, 10. Eight, 9, 10. Eight, 9, 10. Eight, 9, 10. Eight, 9, 10.
What's our temperature?
We're at 46. 8, 9, 10. Eight, 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 9, 10.
What's our temp?
28. 8, 9, 10. Eight, 9, 10. 25. 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 10. And there we're at 19.5.
Perfect.
Sweet.
So keep filling. So there you have it. We've now completed both the boiling and freezing point procedures for the lab. You have all of your data collected, so now you need to finish writing up the lab. Just to summarize the things that you learned in the introductory video, what you'll be doing, and this is all on the back of your lab handout, you'll first of all be creating 2 graphs. Understand that they will be on separate pieces of graph paper. You'll notice that we posted links to graph paper on our webpage. Don't freehand these on paper. You'll be doing these on graph paper. Be sure that you're following the instructions in terms of where you put energy, which is actually time, and then where you put temperature, spread your units out evenly, connect your dots, put titles on your graphs, all of those things. Remember that with both the boiling and the freezing point graph, we will be graphing our temperatures rounded to whole numbers. Following the creation of your graphs, the last thing that you'll want to do is answer the conclusion questions. There are 4 conclusion questions. Please understand that you are required to type your answers to the conclusions. Handwritten answers will not be accepted. And please remember your audience, that you are writing quality, well-developed responses to each of these 4 questions. Understand then that the next day in class, we will actually be gathering up these lab write-ups, and we will be using them as the foundation for the conversations that we're going to have next time in class. So whether you're doing this online or whether you're coming back to do this in person, it's going to be important that you have these labs written up before you come back for the next day of class. So thanks for joining us. We need to free this thermometer from the wax, and we're going to wrap up as well. Thanks.